What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, it looks like we actually have a spooky one on our hands, guys. And this is from none other than TheRubber. This is SCP-3114, Skeleton Skin. Wouldn't it be chilly? So looking at the thumbnail and the title, I'll be surprised if it doesn't at least attempt to be a scary SCP. So with that all out the way, there's only one way to find out what's going on with this, and that's to dive deep. But before we do that, if you guys do enjoy this reaction, please remember by smashing that like button for me. Let's at least just try to get 50 likes on this one. And also remember, smash that sub button if you do enjoy the content. And if you're not already subbed, I make SCP content all the time on the channel for you guys. So if you do enjoy my reaction style, you do enjoy SCP content, this will be the best place to be on the tube to get your fix of SCP heat. And now, with all out the way, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, Skeleton Skin, SCP-3114. Wouldn't it be chilly? Let's go.
Viewer discretion is advised. Dickie ventured into the woods as he was a participant in a game of truth or dare with his hiker buddies. He opted for a dare, and they dared him to go into the woods and bring back something scary, like a werewolf or ghosts, they added, sarcastically.
Okay.
And Dickie had always yearned for a chance to show off his bravado, mostly to impress Jenny, one of the hikers. The woods got denser as Dickie ventured deeper. His flashlight, although bright, illuminated nothing ahead of him. Yikes. And sure enough, he tripped. He felt something was grabbing his ankle.
Mid-trip? Bro, I'll be spooked as hell.
He immediately grabbed the light, and chills ran down his spine as the flashlight shone on a set of bones. Bony white human hands poking out of the ground. Horrified, he scrambled himself up and tried to run away, but then an idea struck him. I didn't bump into the skeleton for nothing.
That's something scary.
I'll take it back as proof of my bravery and prove them wrong. And with that, he started to dig. The bones were being revealed more and more as he dug. Soon, the skeleton was fully dug out. It was intact, and none of the bones were disintegrated.
Wow.
Without any delay, Dickie grabbed both hands of the skeleton and carried it on his back.
Oh, yo, the eyes, I just saw that. But one, why don't we just bring a hand thing? Why are you bringing the whole skeleton? Like, what the hell?
After walking a few steps, he felt something grabbing his throat. And just when he tried to understand what was going on, it was too late. The skeleton that he had piggybacked was not dead.
Goddamn.
He tried to free himself from its strong clutches, but he couldn't. The skeleton's strength was stronger than that of Dickie's, and its squeeze on his throat was getting tighter by the seconds.
Sounds like he's breaking his throat.
Eventually, Dickie ceased to struggle and suffocated to his death.
Damn.
He fell lifelessly, and the skeleton began to tear an opening on his body. It pulled out the bones, then squeezed itself into Dickie's skin and flesh.
Yo!
Back at the campsite, Dickie's buddies were chatting gleefully around the campfire.
Oh my god!
They saw the return of Dickie, and one of the hikers, Ripley, rose up. "Took you long enough, huh? I see you didn't bring anything back with you." But Dickie, or what he was now, only stared at them blankly.
Oh
Hello, everybody.
God, bro, are you kidding me? Oh, this has got to be good.
I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object, SCP-3114. SCP-3114, also known as Wouldn't It Be Chilly, is an animate human skeleton. Although it has no articulation or connective tissue, its individual bones remain intact as they would in a human body. Research showed that individual bones can be pulled out of position, but quickly return to their correct position when there is no longer an external force acting on them.
Oh, wow.
Though it is made of similar minerals as human bone, it is stronger and requires more than 3 times as much force to break.
Okay.
And the anomalous feature extends to the broken bone mending on its own.
Wow.
Regarding its
ability
to move, there is no current explanation. However, the observed range of motion in its joints is similar to a healthy adult female's. It is much stronger than a human and can lift at least 250 kilograms with one arm alone.
God damn. That would be kind of cool if whenever he takes the body of, a victim, like Dickie, you can see his eyes instead of like, the victim Dickie's eyes that are just like hollow. It would be kind of cool.
Its maximum observed foot speed is 60 kilometers an hour. 3114 has an apparent field of view similar to a human's and reacts to visual stimuli.
What the hell?
It also responds to touch. However, it does not react to sound or smell.
Oh, okay.
After
Makes
recovering
sense.
3114, it has proven to be extremely aggressive and would immediately attempt to attack any time it sees a human or other biological humanoid entities. When it sees a potential target, 3114 will approach the target with the quickest route it can, only avoiding obstacles it cannot push through.
And then
Once it
act
reaches the target, it will latch on with its hands around the throat and begin squeezing it, asphyxiating the target.
It didn't seem like that was the case with Dickie, though. Looked like he was just in the ground and Dickie ran into him. Unless the skeleton, you know, planted himself there knowing that Dickie would, like, you know, go that way. Which is kind of interesting because Dickie had to dig him up.
Once the target stops moving, it will begin to tear the body open grotesquely and pull out its bones over the course of several hours. Once the whole skeleton is removed, it will attempt to pull the remaining flesh over itself. Once the body is no longer in one large piece, it loses interest in it. A series of conducted experiments showed varied results of 3114's reaction to different entities. For the first two experiments, the results came out the same. Both the D-class personnel and a female gorilla were placed in the vicinity of 3114. Both subjects tried to escape, and even though the gorilla was able to break 3114's left ulna, none of them survived and was asphyxiated.
Oh my
Their
god.
flesh was torn open and bones removed.
Alright.
However, upon discovering that the victim's body was not intact, 3114 placed the subject remains in a corner along with several sticks and a cardboard box on top of the subject, as though burying him.
Wow, so like if he messes up and like actually like pulls off his head or pulls off an arm and he can't wear the bodysuit completely because there's a piece missing, he just doesn't like it. And one, if he does like it, how long does he wear it? Because it seems like he, you know, switches from body to body per se because he's still a skeleton.
3114 seemed quite compassionate and considerate to the other two subjects, where one was a border collie and the other was a human skeleton model. For the dog, 3114 approached and examined the subject cautiously with its fingers, and was surprised when the dog licked it. It played with the dog for 2 hours and was visibly excited in its presence.
The hell?
It wrestled with the dog without harming it and threw sticks for it. The subject was then removed from the enclosure without incident. 3114 stood at the exit for several hours after the subject's removal and struck the walls repeatedly, as if 3114 was missing its presence. For the skeleton model, 3114 approached it immediately, but did not attack. Instead, it examined the subject by prodding it. When this elicited no response, it ran its hand along the top of the subject's head. Since the subject was a skeleton itself and no skin was there to tear, it carried it back to its enclosure and cradled it for several hours. It then put the subject in the same position it takes during sleep periods. A different approach was made by 3114 when a male human cadaver 1 hour after death was placed in the enclosure. 3114 proceeded with its process and was able to keep the body intact while it placed itself inside. It walked around its enclosure for an hour while wearing the subject. The only exception in this experiment was another D-class personnel that was placed in the enclosure.
What's the benefit of him wearing a human bodysuit though? Like, it'll be interesting if he needs that to like prolong his life, or like, you know, he's just doing that because it's like nutrients or something to keep him going. Because it just seems like he's just doing this just to do it. And there's no benefit compared to just like, you know, just wanting to do it. So far from what we're seeing.
When 3114 approached, he attempted to escape. 3114 grabbed him, but only gently. It continued to try interacting with him, taking his hand and placing it on its face, trying to mimic his movements, and embracing him.
Really?
After 3 hours, the D-class was removed safely from the enclosure.
What?
Lastly, when no target is present, 3114 is fairly docile.
I don't get it.
It explores its enclosure, but does not attempt to escape.
What's the purpose of his actions?
When the lights are turned out for the night, it lays down and becomes motionless. Though it resembles sleep, it is still capable of responding to visual stimuli. As for its motives for wearing the skins of its victims, researchers think of it as a way of coping with certain longings. When Dickie, or rather 3114 in Dickie's skin, moved closer to the group leader Tom noticed something was off in Dickie's demeanors.
Oh, I bet.
His movements were stiff, his mouth agape, and what happened to his eyes? But he brushed it off as him being tired from his little adventure in the woods.
How do you brush that
It
off?
ignored Ripley and walked past him to settle down around the campfire, next to Jenny. She asked if he had brought anything scary back to show them, but she got no response in return. 3114 only stared blankly into the fire.
Dang.
They continued their merriments around the fire, but as time went on, they noticed the atmosphere was off.
How are you guys just not like shook that our boy Dickie ain't saying shit and he's looking the way he's looking? What the heck?
Dickie, the usual chatterbox in the group, had remained silent ever since his return from the woods. Tom whispered to Dickie, "Hey man, you alright? You're awfully quiet. What the?" He found a gruesome tear in the nape of Dickie's skin. It appeared that it ran all the way down. He pulled Ripley aside and whispered, "Hey, something's not right with Dickie." "Yeah, I figured he's so damn quiet ever since he came back. What's wrong with him?"
Or he has a big ass gash on his back. I mean, come on now.
They both looked at their friend, who was just sitting and staring into the fire.
Just want to jump in?
Ginny was starting to feel uneasy. "There's a scar or something behind his neck. Think we should ask him?" Without saying anything, Ripley quickly moved behind it and pulled up Dickie's shirt, revealing a tear that ran from the neck to waist. A white set of skeleton could be seen within Dickie's pink flesh.
He literally ripped Dickie's shirt like it was like gift wrap. What the heck? That was kind of weird, but whatever.
It was bared for everyone around to see. This isn't Dickie! 3114 stood up abruptly, and it tore Dickie's skin further. It got loose and fell off 3114, revealing a skeleton figure stained in Dickie's blood. Horrified, the hikers ran, but unfortunately for Ginny, she tripped and twisted her ankle.
Oh my god.
3114 moved towards her. She screamed for help, but her friends did not come back as 3114 proceeded to repeat what it did to Dickie on Ginny.
Bro.
Hours later, 3114, now in Ginny's skin, sat around the campfire, basking in its warmth in the companies of Ginny's skeleton. Many researchers observed 3114's attempt to wear the skin of its victim as a way to cope with the longing of skin and company that had been undergoing for an unknown period of time.
That would make sense.
After all, doesn't it get chilly sometimes for skeletons too?
Is it over?
Remember to check out my new anime.
The way they ended that was kind of cool. They wrapped it up pretty well. And it would make sense that he is wearing, humans because he misses skin. Because I'm assuming he never had it. Which would make sense being how he's just a skeleton. So yeah, this was a cool animation from TheRubber. If you guys did enjoy it as well too, please let me know by smashing that like button. Let's just try to get 50 likes. And also smash the sub button and hit that bell so you can stay plugged for each and every upload. And let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about this SCP, if it's everything that you expected it. I was hoping that it was a scary one, and it was. I liked the concept of it. And I was also intrigued how he was, interacting with all the other test subjects within the Foundation when they were, putting the dog in, the gorilla, the other human. It was kind of cool. But, yeah, let me know in the comment section below. However, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one.